Okay, is this working? I just turned the computer around so I can look at the screen, kind of monitor my time. I'll get my ruler here. I just want to come back in a part 2.
What are you doing?
I can't find my ruler. I'm recording. Can't see you, just seeing the board. Okay. I thought I'd better come back and do a second part on this. This webcam that I have on the tripod, I can't use it to zoom in. Anyway, a thought occurred to me of what's happening over in Europe with Russia putting a stranglehold on Europe as far as natural gas. That this JOEPIPE system would, I believe it would really take off. And you guys out there in Europe, you're more than capable of putting a system together like this and fast-tracking it and getting it out to the people. So if the time comes where, you know, the price of propane and natural gas is jacked up, well, at least you'll have a system that you've made and where you got out to the people, and where people could, you know, still have their heat, their hot water, and their cooking and their ovens and hot water on demand systems. And you can also, you know, experiment with using different fuels, and that's what I like to get into, just touch on a little bit. So actually, on this JOEPIPE here, if you had a, you know, this is the hot point here. See, on this hot point, if you had a 1 liter containment welded around this, like maybe a 4-inch pipe or something like that, and set the JOEPIPE in the vertical position with the flame going up, flame going down, doesn't really matter. But say if you had this in the vertical position, and you would fill the water boiler 1/3 full of water, and you would have, you know, control your you know, you're able to have a line coming off, steel line coming off, and onto a valve where you could actually pressure up the steam to maybe, or say 10 pounds steam at maybe 800 degrees or somewhere around there, because you have to remember this is red hot, and the water in there is going to boil very quickly. In the test that I've done with the flame, you know, where I've actually taken the JOEPIPE in the vertical position using an 1.5-inch pipe, I was able to, you know, I used a stainless steel kettle and put in 16 ounces of water in the kettle. I was able to boil that 1 pound of water in 23 seconds and bring the water into full steam under 4 minutes. So, you know, if you use the external part of the flame to heat a kettle or some kind of steamer, you can convert about 1 pound of water every 4 minutes, using probably 4 ounces of propane per hour. Now, that's not bad. So you could do maybe 15 pounds, you know, 20 pounds of water an hour, maybe a couple gallons of water into steam per hour. That's fairly reasonable. So you could use that to make superheated steam. So all I'm doing here is making a little water boiler in the vertical position and taking the steam, and I don't have it drawn here. But say if you had another 1 liter container here, and this is your fuel container, it's made out of steel, and you got it filled full of 1/3 gasoline, and you bring your steam into the gasoline, and you're using your steam as a driver to create a saturated gasoline water effect fuel, or what they call wet gas or wet fuel. I've done it with air, but in this instance, I don't really want to use air as my driver, but I use steam as your driver, and this will allow you to use waste oil, to use any kind of petroleum base in there, and convert it into vapor form to bring your liquid fuel into a vapor form. That's what you want. And so you could actually take take this propane feed and disconnect it and put your propane feed maybe into the top part of the T, right? So you need some kind of startup fuel, whether it be natural gas or alcohol or propane. You still need some kind of startup vapor fuel. And so once you get going, you can actually take your steam gas distillate and bring it through your 1/4 inch or 3/8 feed right into the center of your swirl device. And so that should allow you to turn off your propane and to generate your own fuel. So you can drop your costs from 25 cents per hour for propane down to about maybe 10 cents an hour by making your gasoline. So a gallon of gasoline and by pumping in steam would probably allow you maybe 40 to 50 hours fuel time. So even if gas was $10 per gallon, you're looking at $5 a day to for your hot water on demand, for your cooking and your space heating applications. You know, it's just a matter of taking the Joe pipe and configuring it into the right design that's appropriate, where it's going to meet your needs. Okay. So that's what I like to do before I leave here on the east coast of Canada, Prince Edward Island, to go back to Edmonton. I like to be able to make a vertical Joe pipe with a 1 liter containment, where I can take the steam, use it to create a gas distillate, to use it as a supplementary fuel to run the Joe pipe. And one of the reasons why I'm not using air as the driver into the gasoline is that the fuel, the vapor fuel, has to go in the front and in the more advanced designs. And if you got your propane or your gas vapor coming in the back mixed with your air, if you do get an implosion reaction, you know, if you've got too much implosion on this side, it could pop it back. It'd be just like a 303 going off. You just let it pop back, and your level 3 would end up burning back here, and it'd be creating a bunch of black smoke. You have to remember that your level 3 flame is an implosion flame, is generating vacuum on generating a vacuum state on this side. That's why it's so very powerful. And by increasing the air potential, or the octane, or the adding converting your incoming air, ambient air, into nitric oxide by using UV. That's another way you can improve it, to use a UV light, maybe 240 nanometers, where you can actually double the weight of your oxygen in your air from 14% to 28%, and that's going to give you a much faster effect. That'd be doubling your oxygen supply. And as I was saying in the first video, Joe pipe heater video, that there's times where the level 3 operation of the Joe pipe or the implosion flame can be tripped, maybe through air or adding extra oxygen into it, where it could cause the molecular flame, or the normal operation, or the third state value of the flame to condense into a fourth state energy. And I've seen this happen many times. It ends up destroying your Joe pipe, and so you have to be set up for that. So there is another operation with this, and what I like to bring the Joe pipe into the quantum level, where you can actually use your fuel that represents the third state of matter to generate energy in the fourth state. So you actually maybe generating a plasma flame that big by being able to trip the reaction, from a normal operation into an ionized state. And so if this is an ionized state, I've seen this a number of times, your flame here would be anywhere between 7,000 to 12,000 degrees. It would actually be in the plasma state. And I've seen many times where the pipe would go instantly transparent, where you could actually see the flame being generated right through the pipe. So that's the reason for making a generator using steam to bubble steam through gasoline to form an auxiliary fuel to come into here. Now to make sure that your auxiliary fuel is coming into the front and your air coming in from behind you. You're going to get, similar results. You're still going to get a level 3 flame here. But this way that the fuel is contained in front of this roll device. And so once you got your gas vapor here, you should be able to turn down your propane to where you're running strictly on steam and gas and air. And you should get a little hotter flame than propane. And so the next step would be where you'd have your air right here. You could actually put maybe a light box made out of ultraviolet. Your LED lights, they're usually around 4 watts in power. They're not that much, but the UV will convert the nitrogen and oxygen mix into nitric oxide, and so that would be your catalyst. And so when you got nitric oxide mixing with gas vapor, gas and steam distillate, it could trip the fuel vapor into a quantum state, into a plasma reaction. So what would happen? Your flame would be burning like that, and all of a sudden your flame would collapse into a pinpoint, just the size of that there, maybe the size of a BB shot. That would be your flame. You would actually get a round ball of electrical plasma, and that would be your flame. And so the air going past would actually transfer the heat out of the fourth state of matter and bring it out. But what could happen too, the heat could be so intense that you're going to vaporize the Joe pipe, or the the iron of the Joe pipe is going to go into become transparent and go into a super state or a superconductive state, where it could be 2 to 3 times the melting point of the metal itself. Your Joe pipe could go to 5,000 or 6,000 degrees without melting, and I've seen this happen a number of times. Now I've seen where I would have a pipe made out of titanium with a copper end cap with propane and air, whereas something caused the normal state of the Joe pipe to condense into a plasma flame, where the copper end cap was totally transparent, and where I had to take 2 pairs of pliers and pull the copper end cap and the Joe pipe apart. When I was looking at the propane was actually a rainbow color, and when it was arcing into the back of the Joe pipe, it was pure, brilliant white light. So I know there's another whole level of the Joe pipe to be discovered, and this would give you an unlimited heat source in the maybe 10 to 20,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But anyway, I'm just bringing you the normal operation for you out there in Europe, and for you out there in the Prince Edward Island here. You're going to have to take this and run with it. That's why I'm bringing it to you. So you can take this, you can make a prototype model, and call your friends over for a demonstration, and start making these prototypes. Start getting them out to your friends, because you're going to need them. So as long as you got propane, you still need a startup fuel like propane, or you could have a hand generator for air, or you could bubble air through an alcohol. You could take a bottle of vodka or whatever, bubble air through it, and you're creating a fuel vapor, and you could use that as your fuel for your Joe pipe. And for your air, I'd like to talk a little bit on the air. And when I first I ran the Joe pipe, I used it was a 4-inch marine fan, like a white case marine fan, 4 inches across, and I had the plastic blue impellers, and they use it for venting bulkheads on boats. And I had 4 blades, and I think the CFM was about 350 CFM cubic feet per minute. And put a rheostat on the fan that was connected to a 12-volt battery, and had no problems using that to that would run this Joe pipe here, not a problem. In fact, you would have air coming out of the back of the fan. So a 4-inch marine fan is more than what you need, and as long as you have a battery hooked up to a solar cell, you can maintain the charge in your battery. So you could actually make a Joe pipe setup, or however you want to make it, right? Or you can able to generate your air supply, and to where you're generating your steam to put through gasoline to make your own fuel. There is another more advanced. I'm just going to look at my time here. I think I better cut it off here. I'm going to come back on a third part of this. I want to talk about the third level up.